Growth requires discomfort. That's a truth most people don't want to hear because comfort feels good. It feels safe. But nothing truly great has ever been born out of comfort. Growth only happens when you're stretched, when you're challenged, and yes, when you're uncomfortable. Think about it. The seed has to break before the plant can emerge. The butterfly has to struggle to break out of the cocoon. The diamond is only formed under pressure. Discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's something to endure and embrace because it's proof that you're evolving. When you're in a comfortable place for too long, you stop moving. You stop reaching. You stop pushing yourself. You settle. And settling kills dreams. Comfort creates the illusion of success. You might think, I'm good where I am. I don't need to do more. But that mindset is what keeps people stuck in the same place year after year, wondering why their lives haven't changed. It's because nothing changes in the comfort zone. Real change, real growth begins the moment you step outside of it. Discomfort shows up in many ways. Sometimes it's waking up earlier than you want to, grinding after a long day when you'd rather rest, or facing your fears instead of avoiding them. Sometimes it's saying no to people, walking away from something familiar, or risking failure in the pursuit of something better. None of those things feel good in the moment, but those are the moments where growth is happening. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the training ground. If you're doing something that scares you, that stretches you, that makes you feel like you're not quite ready, good. That's where the growth is. Growth doesn't come from doing what you already know how to do. It comes from taking on what you don't know how to do and figuring it out anyway. It's in the trial. It's in the uncertainty. It's in the struggle. The more you lean into that space, the stronger, wiser, and more capable you become. Provide too many people pray for growth, but run from the process. They want the reward, but not the work. They want the destination, but not the journey. But growth doesn't happen because you want it. It happens because you earn it. Every time you go through something hard and keep going, you're building your mental toughness. You're building your faith. You're building your character. And that's what real success is built on. You've got to be willing to be uncomfortable now, to be unshakable later. That job interview you're scared to go to, that business you're nervous to launch, that conversation you've been avoiding, that's where the growth is. It's not in what's easy. It's not in what's familiar. It's in the stretch. It's in the challenge. And if you keep choosing comfort over growth, you'll always stay smaller than your potential. The truth is, discomfort is a gift. It doesn't feel like it at first, but it is, because it wakes you up. It shakes you up. It forces you to become more than you were yesterday. So the next time you feel uncomfortable, don't run, don't shut down, recognize it for what it is, an opportunity. Because every uncomfortable step you take is taking you one step closer to the person you're meant to be. Growth is waiting on the other side of why. Pain has a purpose. It's not just something you go through. It's something that grows you. Most people see pain as a punishment, as something to be avoided at all costs. But if you really think about the moments in your life that changed you the most, that shaped you into who you are today, they probably weren't the easy ones. They were the painful ones. Pain doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to develop you. It's a teacher in disguise. When life hurts, it's trying to tell you something. It might be telling you to slow down. It might be showing you what needs to change. It might be preparing you for something greater. But too often people get so focused on how bad it feels that they miss what it's trying to teach. They shut down, run away, or numb it instead of listening to it. But pain always carries a message. And if you lean in and pay attention, it'll reveal something deeper than comfort ever could. Sometimes pain shows up through loss. A job, a relationship, a dream, gone in an instant. And in that moment, it feels like your world is falling apart. But what if it's actually falling into place? What if that closed door wasn't rejection, but redirection? See, pain can push you out of what's not meant for you and pull you into what is. That breakup might hurt, but maybe it's making space for something healthier. That failed business might sting, but maybe it's teaching you how to build something stronger next time. The pain isn't random, it's refining you. We live in a culture that wants to avoid pain at all costs. Instant relief, instant distractions, instant gratification. But shortcuts don't lead to strength. If you always run from pain, you rob yourself of what it came to give you: growth, clarity, resilience. You miss out on the lessons hidden inside the hurt. Because every time you overcome something painful, you gain something powerful. You gain understanding. You gain empathy. You gain depth. Pain also builds something in you that success never could: endurance. When you've been through it, when you've survived what tried to break you, you move differently. You speak with more authority. You stand with more confidence. Because you know you didn't get here by accident. You earned every inch through the fire. That kind of strength can't be bought or borrowed. It has to be built. And it gets built in the moments that hurt. But there's also a hidden beauty in pain. It strips away the unnecessary. When you're hurting, you're forced to get real. Real with yourself, real with your faith, real with your priorities. You stop pretending, stop performing, and start seeing clearly. Pain cuts deep, but it also cuts through the noise. It reveals what truly matters and shows you who you really are underneath it all. So don't waste your pain. Don't bury it. Don't rush past it. Ask yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me? What is this season building in me? Because pain is not just a storm you survive. It's a seed being planted. And if you trust the process, that seed will grow into something beautiful, something strong, something unshakable. You won't see it right away. You might not even feel it, but something is happening beneath the surface. Pain is working on you, shaping you, and getting you ready for what's next. And when you come out the other side, you'll realize the pain had a purpose all along. Setbacks often feel like dead ends. When life knocks you down, when plans fall apart, when doors close without warning, it's easy to think, this is it, I'm done. But that's not the end. It's often the beginning of something better. Setbacks aren't stop signs. They're setups. They're life's way of redirecting you, preparing you, even protecting you. The problem is, when you're in it, when the disappointment is fresh and the loss feels heavy, you can't always see what's ahead. All you can feel is what you've lost. But time and perspective reveal what pain hides. The setback was never about ending you. It was about growing you. You might have had a plan that made perfect sense to you. Everything was lined up, and then, boom, it collapsed. The relationship you counted on walked away. The job you were banking on didn't come through. You gave your best, and it still didn't work out. That hurts. It's frustrating. It can make you doubt yourself, doubt your direction, even doubt your worth. But sometimes what looks like rejection is really protection. What feels like failure is actually a redirection. You were never supposed to stay where you were. That door had to close because your next level needed a different version of you. Think about it. How many times have you wanted something so badly, only to look back later and realize you're better off without it? At the time, you were crushed. You couldn't understand why it didn't work out. But with distance, you saw the truth. That loss created space for something greater. That disappointment forced you to dig deeper, to rebuild stronger, to grow up in ways comfort never would have allowed. That's the setup. It's hidden in the struggle. Life doesn't always give you what you want, but it will give you what you need to become who you're meant to be. The setback might be humbling, even humiliating, but it's not without purpose. Maybe you needed to fail to learn resilience. Maybe the door had to close to save you time. Maybe the betrayal had to happen to show you who's really with you. There's always more going on than what you see on the surface. The setup is in motion, even in the mess. The key is not to quit in the middle. Too many people give up during the process. They see the setback and assume the story's over. But stories don't end in the valley. They turn there. That's where characters are developed. That's where strength is built. That's where vision becomes clear. If you can hold on through the setback, you'll walk into a comeback. But you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep trusting. You've got to keep showing up, even when it doesn't make sense. Because life rewards perseverance. The setup is only revealed to those who don't give up. If you stop too soon, you miss the purpose of the pain. You miss the wisdom, the growth, the opportunity that was being born through the struggle. That doesn't mean the process is easy. Setbacks hurt. They challenge your confidence, test your patience, and stretch your faith. But if you push through, they also shape your story into something more powerful than you ever imagined. So when life knocks you off your path, when things don't go the way you hoped, don't get bitter, get better. Don't ask why me, ask what's next. Because this isn't where it ends. It's just where the next chapter begins. What feels like a fall is often a setup for flight. You just have to trust that even in the delay, the denial, and the detour, something greater is being prepared. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. The setback is a setup, and the comeback. Most people want growth, but few are willing to go through what it really takes. They say they want to level up, want to achieve more, want to become better. But the moment things get uncomfortable, they look for a way out. That's the mistake. Growth doesn't come from wishing or wanting. It comes from enduring the process. And the process isn't pretty. It's not glamorous. It's messy. It's tiring. And at times it feels like it's breaking. But that's exactly where transformation lives. In the middle of discomfort, not around it. The world today is all about shortcuts. Everyone wants the fast track, the 10-day challenge, the life hack, the overnight success. But anything worth having is worth suffering for. You can't develop real strength without going through something that requires it. You can't build endurance by sitting still. You have to stay in the fight, even when it's boring, even when it hurts, even when nobody's clapping for you. Because what's being built in the dark eventually shows in the light, but only if you don't quit. There's a certain kind of pain that comes from growth. It's the pain of waking up early to chase your goals. It's the pain of sacrifice, of letting go of comfort, of denying distractions. It's the pain of discipline, of saying no to things that used to satisfy you because they no longer serve the version of you you're becoming. That's a hard road. And there's a voice in your head that will try to talk you out of it. That voice will say, take a break. You've done enough. This is too hard. That voice is the old you, the comfortable you. And if you listen to it, you stay the same. But when you push through, when you silence that voice and choose the work anyway, that's where the shift happens. That's where growth starts to take root. It's not in the perfect days. It's in the hard ones, the days you don't feel like showing up, but you show up anyway. That quiet kind of persistence, that behind-the-scenes grind, is what separates people who talk about growth from the people who actually grow. Think about anything alive, a tree, a flower, even a child. Growth is natural, but it's never effortless. A seed has to be buried in the dark, has to break open, has to stretch and reach for light before it ever becomes something beautiful. That process isn't optional. It's necessary. The same goes for you. If you keep trying to skip the discomfort, you're skipping your own breakthrough. You've got to be willing to hurt a little now to heal into your future. You've got to trust the process, even when it's uncomfortable, because the discomfort is doing something in you. It's teaching you, shaping you, preparing you. And here's the truth. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. You don't have to get it all right. You just have to keep going. You don't have to enjoy every moment. You just have to endure it. Because growth doesn't come in a moment of inspiration. It comes through hundreds of small, quiet, difficult choices that nobody sees. But when you look back, you'll realize it was in those uncomfortable decisions that everything began to change. So don't run from the hard parts. Don't shut down when the process gets tough. Lean in, because if it's stretching you, it's growing you. And if you stay in it long enough, you'll come out on the other side. We live in a world that's addicted to speed. Everything is built around how fast we can get what we want. You can order food, clothes, even furniture and have it at your door in hours. You can post a video and go viral overnight. You can see someone's highlight reel on social media and start to believe success happens instantly. But real growth, real transformation, that doesn't happen on demand. Growth takes time and the process can't be rushed, no matter how badly you want the results. The danger of this instant results culture is that it trains your mind to expect progress without patience. You want the body without the workouts, the business without the failures, the wisdom without the struggle. But that's not how anything meaningful works. If you plant a seed, you can water it every day, but it still takes time for roots to grow. You don't see anything for a while, just dirt. But something is happening beneath the surface. Something important. And if you give up too soon because you don't see results fast enough, you never get to experience the fruit of your effort. Growth works the same way. You might be doing all the right things, showing up, working hard, staying focused, and still not feel like anything is changing. That's when most people quit, not because they're not capable, but because they've been conditioned to expect progress at the speed of convenience. But growth doesn't happen on your timeline. It happens on purpose. It happens when you're faithful in the process, not just obsessed with the outcome. The problem is, waiting is uncomfortable. It feels like you're wasting time. It feels like everyone else is moving ahead while you're standing still. But growth often requires stillness before movement. You need seasons where nothing seems to be happening, because that's when foundations are being built, that's when character is being developed, and that kind of growth, the deep lasting kind, if you try to rush it, you'll end up with something weak, something incomplete. You might get the position before you have the discipline to handle it. You might get the spotlight before you have the character to stand in it. And then what happens? You crumble, because the outside grew faster than the inside. That's why the process is so important. It builds you from the inside out. And let's be honest, fast growth might feel good, but slow growth is usually more solid, because every step you had to fight for, every season you had to survive, teaches you something. It makes you grateful. It makes you grounded. It gives you a story that can't be duplicated or faked. You didn't just get it, you earned it. And that kind of growth, no matter how long it takes, can't be taken from you. So while the world pushes shortcuts, remind yourself that the long way isn't the wrong way. It's the real way. And yes, it'll test your patience. It'll make you question yourself. But it'll also make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared, because what you become while you wait is just as important as what you're waiting for. And when the growth finally shows, when the results start to surface, it'll all make sense. You'll realize it wasn't happening to you, it was happening for you. It just needed time. Survival changes you. When you've been through real pain, real loss, real struggle, and you make it out on the other side, you're not the same person you were before. You carry something different in your spirit, something deeper, something stronger. That kind of growth can't be taught in a classroom or learned from a book. It only comes from walking through the fire and coming out refined. The suffering you survived becomes the foundation you stand on. It shapes your identity in a way that ease never could. When everything is going well, when life is smooth, It's easy to feel strong, but that strength is untested. It's theory, it's potential. You don't know what you're really made of until you've been through something that should have broken you, but didn't. That's when your strength becomes real. Not loud, not flashy, just solid, quiet, unshakable. It's the kind of strength that doesn't have to prove anything because it's already been proven in silence, in private, in the hard seasons where no one else was watching. There's something sacred about survival. It builds a kind of confidence that's different from pride. It's not based on ego. It's not based on comparison. It comes from knowing deep in your bones that you've endured what many people couldn't. That you've faced nights when you didn't know how you'd make it, and somehow you did. That's the power of suffering. It doesn't just test your limits, it expands them. It doesn't just show you who you are, it reveals who you can be. And when you come through something painful, you start to walk with more purpose. You no longer waste energy on things that don't matter. You stop caring so much about people's opinions. You begin to see life with clearer eyes. Why? Because suffering stripped away the unnecessary. It revealed your real values. It brought you back to the basics: faith, character, perseverance. You stopped chasing image and started chasing impact. That shift only happens when you've been through something real. Survival also builds empathy. When you've been in the valley, you understand other people's pain. You don't judge as quickly. You don't speak from the sidelines because you've been in the game. That kind of heart, the one softened by suffering, has the power to lead, to comfort, to inspire. You've got a story now, and that story carries weight because it wasn't handed to you. It was carved out of dark nights, tough decisions, and relentless endurance. You might not realize it while you're in it, but survival is shaping something in you that success never could. It's building a version of you that's more resilient, more focused, more grateful. When you've had to fight for your peace, you protect it differently. When you've had to crawl through loneliness, you love with more depth. When you've survived heartbreak, failure, disappointment, you start to see pain not as a threat, but as a teacher. So if you're still standing after everything you've been through, know this: you didn't just make it. You became something stronger, something wiser. You carry experience now, perspective, and most importantly, you carry proof. Proof that you can make it through the next battle. Proof that you can rise again, even if you fall. Because once you survive what you thought would break you, fear loses its grip. You don't walk the same. You walk with history in your steps and hope in your heart. You know who you are now, not because someone told you, but because life showed you.